So yeah, today we've received this in for a repair, and yeah, a couple of the notes that don't move, that doesn't move, so that's an issue. But there's something rattling around inside. But yes, it's one of these. Okay, so there's another distinct problem with this machine, which is this. Whoa. Yeah, something's broken off and is loose in there. Otherwise, most things looking alright. There are a few loose screws down the back here. Some of these are loose, but we'll have a look. Okay, so now it's upside down on the bench on a couple of pillows. Got the pots just hanging up here in the front somewhere, so they're not really on the bench. And yeah, we're just going to start removing screws. We'll take the edge ones off first. Means we may have to remove some of these back ones, but then we'll look at these smaller screws inside and see if that's actually the piano bed, which I think we'll have to take off the whole of the back. All the screws and the piano bed will sit there, the key bed. Right, let's do that. Okay, so here it is inverted on the bench. So we're going to do a bottom down look at it, since that seems to be the way it needs to go to get it apart. The key bed is got a few anomalies, but I'm looking for the piece of thing that's running around inside here. So we've removed the earths from the chassis. The bottom is a nice steel plate. It's connected in several places to earth, and we removed that so we can get it off. I'm going to melt or cut or do something with these rubber seals that have been put onto these tapes, which feed the LEDs which are along the keyboard, the two LED strips. So we're going to get them off to get the keyboard out. I've already removed these little cables from their plugs so that we can get the keyboard out, and that's going to be the next thing to do. Okay, so here we are. Got all the goop off with a Stanley knife blade, a utility knife blade, and they just pop out. Alright, so that keyboard can come out now, but in the process of just moving things about, these two keys have fallen out. They've just fallen. So that's one of the reasons I want to take the keyboard bed out, so that we can see why. Where do they come from? Just here. So they've come loose in this area. But yeah, we'll try and get this out on its own now. Okay, so here's a key little item, it seems, which was rattling around. Whoops, there he goes, rattling around inside. And of course this little thing, not sure what that is just yet. We'll work it out. But it seems that this very last key here, it's very soft and it sits flat, it sits down. This is the counterbalance for that key, and it goes in just in there. Right, now all the counterbalances are on, all the weights for the keys, and that is of course where this thing gets its nice hammer action, like a piano, what do you say, weighted action. But yes, and we'll have to see where these two keys go back in. They've got the weights, so I'm thinking it's likely that they've actually broken off in the middle in there somewhere, because the weight's still moving, but the key is not connected. We'll try. Okay, so far on this keyboard we've managed to get these two notes back in, and they click in rather nice and easily, and well, they're level, which is pretty good. And they're working fairly evenly, you know, for touch compared to the others. This last one, yeah, the counterweight is missing. It's broken off, so we're going to devise a glue system that's going to stay there forever. Let's see. Right, so here we have glued the weight back onto the key, and as you can see, it's a bit broken down there. Okay, so yeah, I've taken a piece of cotton, cut a strip, and I've wrapped the cotton around this broken piece that's been glued, and I've covered it with super glue, and we're just going to let it set up, and it should hold it in place. The whole thing is now super glued. Okay, yeah, so we've put the key bed back in the frame. It's extremely loose and you're not really sure of what the positioning is, but we'll get it when we put the lid back on and all the screws tighten up. We've replaced these ribbon plugs and we put some silicone on it, which will dry and hold them in place. They are a bit loose, oddly. So yeah, we'll just put the lid on, connect up the earths, and then we'll turn it over and test it and see if it works electronically. Brilliant. Okay, well, it's back in its box. It's all screwed together and we have some power on it. And we've done that little power on self-test thingy where you press the two selector buttons here whilst you power on. Hold them down whilst you power on and you get this wonderful indication that all the controls and all the lights are working. I love this one, goes up and down the keyboard, and these pitch and modulation showing that they're working well, changing colors, but you gotta love that. Wow. So now we're going to do a sound test, see if it sees MIDI and does all of that stuff. Yeah, it's looking pretty sweet. It's doing its thing. I like these. Okay, it's just another thing here. This G and A notes that were completely out of their sockets and inside the machine fell out. And this, what is this, the bottom G, B, A notes here, which the weight had fallen off, they're all behaving very well now and looking pretty level. So yeah, what a fun machine. Okay, so we hooked ourselves up to the old contact player. Yeah, seems like we have some MIDI coming off this baby. I'm not a keyboard player, and I wouldn't know where to start with those. I'm not reading the manual, so I'm going to give it back to my mate and let him play it. I like this one. You get a bit of the old whoa, whoa, whoa. Cool. Fave chord at the moment. I'm glad that worked out for you. Somebody has dropped this. Not a very good thing to do to actually a wonderful machine. Happy days.